What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Rolling the Bottom Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Moore. Hope you're doing well whenever you are listening to this one. NASCAR weekend at Michigan International Speedway wrapped up. NASCAR had their two series, the Truck Series and then the NASCAR Cup Series. And then there's also the ARCA Series, which NASCAR owns, but it's not really a part of their, not considered a NASCAR series. But really good racing all around. But as always, let's get into the Cup Series race because boy, do we have lots to talk about. Denny Hamlin wins the NASCAR Cup Series race at Michigan International Speedway, the Firekeeper Casino 400. Denny Hamlin goes back to back at Michigan, won last year, wins today. This is Denny Hamlin's fourth win of the season, his third points win of the season. He won the All-Star race at Dover, a non-points race. This is now Denny Hamlin's 60th victory with Toyota, but his 63rd Cup Series victory, tying him with Kyle Busch. What a moment that was for Denny Hamlin. The race for Hamlin, he won the pole, but had some damage, underbody damage, because of he had a flat tire during practice, had to drive with a flat tire back to pit road. He kind of scraped the bottom, damaged some of those diffuser strakes, which are very important for downforce. So he went to the back, and it was a struggle for him. It was a slow, methodical drive through the front, some cautions, some pit stops. But he finally got there to start stage 3 and continued to slowly work up there. And he finally got up there, had a really good restart, the same restart, the same lap. We saw that massive crash with Bell and Elliott where Hamlin was able to get to third. And then we had a restart with 39 laps to go, where we saw Hamlin make the race-winning move coming to 38 laps to go, where he went bottom of 3 wide, passing both of the Spire Motorsports cars of Carson Hocevar and Dana Swartz, who were both battling for the lead. We know when you get side by side, they create so much drag, and Hamlin had momentum exiting turn 4 to make the move and clear. And then Hamlin literally set sail those last 38 laps and ended up winning by over 11 seconds. I believe it was 11.11 seconds. 2 11s for driver 11. Wow, man. What Denny's doing is spectacular. He wasn't probably the best car today. You could have sent it to 20 and to 9, but they take each other out, and Hamlin was going against probably cars that were not where he was, and he did what he had to do, and it was impressive once he got to the front. He was just tearing it up. But of course, the moment where Denny Hamlin gets the flag, where it had the 1 and then it had the stylized 8, Kyle Busch's signature, and we saw Denny Hamlin drive around with that flag. Really cool, very emotional. The emotions were high. You can just feel it. Prime Video, I think, did a really good job of just like not talking during that time and just letting the whole celebration happen. I know Denny Hamlin said post-race that in order to pass Kyle Busch in wins, or even have a chance to hopefully maybe pass Kyle Busch in all-time wins, it would take him outliving Kyle Busch, and he meant that in like a real way, in the sense that because Kyle Busch passed away, that was the only reason that Denny Hamlin was going to end up having more wins, because he knew that Kyle Busch's runway was longer, and Kyle Busch still had more years to go. But I know Denny was saying that he knew Kyle Busch would have been mad, but Denny said his response would have been, "You have a lot more years to go and chase me back down." Of course, Denny is just tying with Kyle Busch, but with the way the momentum is going, you would expect Hamlin to hopefully get at least one more win, right? With the way he's running. But really emotional, really cool. I thought the way Hamlin did all that, Hamlin said that this past Monday is when he started the plans to set all this up. Hamlin was wearing one of the hats the same hat that was on the flag with the 1 and the 8, combining the 8 and the 18 together. Of course, Kyle Busch got majority of his wins in the 18, but then most people recognized Kyle Busch when he was the last couple of years in the 8. They don't plan to sell any of the hats. That hat that Hamlin was wearing during post-race is a one-of-one. I think it's cool. I think it makes it more special. Of course, if you were caring about making some money, of course they could, but it was a group partnership between RCR and Hamlin and Joker's Racing to have that happen, because of course there's trademark stuff that goes involved when it comes to using another team's number and stylized, style font. But really cool. But what Hamlin's doing, man, they're fast and they're executing. The most impressive part of Hamlin's win was the fact, of course, it came from the back. But on lap 83, we saw that big accident where Hocevar hooked the 42. Hamlin was spinning. He spun in the middle of the racetrack there. Someone easily could have hit Denny Hamlin. And we know Denny Hamlin then is out. That was a big moment. So Hamlin went from starting last to spinning out to then making an incredible 3-mile move to win, and then goes and wins by 11 seconds. I saw a stat as well. Hamlin won Las Vegas earlier in the year after a speeding penalty. Then, later on in the year, he wins at Dover after having to start in the back because of the way the matrix was, where they would split the field in half. Whoever won the first segment would then start in 20th, so he had to come back from that. And then last week, he makes a mistake on the restart and has to then do a pass-through penalty. Pretty much start last and works his way back up to win that race. And then today starts last, spins out, and gets the win. A lot of comeback victories for Denny Hamlin recently. Wow, just spectacular. And Denny Hamlin was asked about, JL Jr. was really asking, are you seriously confident that you're going to retire after next year? Denny Hamlin signed a 2-year deal. And Denny kind of went into some really good detail, saying that his body definitely hurts. It aches at times after races. His body does feel the wear and tear of racing. But he says his eyesight and his reaction time are still as sharp as they've ever been. And also, he kind of threw a hint on his possible replacement. And then he kind of brought up how he lets Joker's Racing knows. Joker's Racing lets him know on their future plans. But he brought up how they got a guy, they got a driver, they got a great driver in Brent Cruz who is going to be ready more than likely by the end of next year. So Denny Hamlin kind of hinted of who will replace Denny. And Brent Cruz, who hasn't won a Rally Series race yet, but just turned 18 and is very close to winning a Rally Series race, is very impressive. He missed the first 4 races this season, and he's already in position to be in the playoffs. So not surprised that that's the driver that Joker's Racing is looking to replace Hamlin in the 11, which I would assume it would be in the 11. But yeah, so much good detail. We're getting so much out of these Denny Hamlin wins. All right, we talked a lot about Hamlin. He actually then jumps into that points lead a little bit more, too, which we'll talk about. After Rennick's really bad day today, crashing that lap 83 crash, Rennick had some massive damage, and then Hamlin capitalizing on Rennick's really bad day and winning, getting some there. I think Hamlin winning, getting some stage points as well. He's now 51 points. Hamlin is 51 points back from Rennick. Now Hamlin did allude to the fact that there's road courses coming up, and he knows that Rennick is much better than him on the road courses, where Hamlin's still not. He said that he's still not really confident that anyone can catch Rennick, even though Hamlin's getting very close there, because he thinks that Rennick's going to really get a lot more points than him at these road courses coming up. We got the San Diego Street Race, and then after that it's Sonoma. But then after that, though, you don't know. But also, there's still a possibility that Hamlin can have a DNF. Hamlin still doesn't have a DNF. This was Rennick's first DNF today. So there's still a lot to happen. So, of course, it looks like, hey, Hamlin can catch him, which he could. But there's still a lot of things that still have to happen in order for Hamlin to catch Rennick and win the regular season championship. So Hamlin still feels confident that Rennick is still in the preferred. It's still in a really good position at first in the point standings. All right, of course, there were some big accidents. Let's get into it. Connor Zilisch spun out on lap 3 in this race, got loose in turn 3 and 4, had a little bit of damage in the rear, hit the outside wall, and then on lap 9, after a restart again, a couple laps, he got loose, exiting turn 2, and then slid down, hit the inside wall, head on. It was a light accident, but Zilisch has really, really struggled. He crashed in Charlotte. He crashed last week early, blew a brake rotor. It's just been a really bad stretch for Zilisch. He's really in that rookie slump. He's only a rookie this season, and he's gonna win the Rookie of the Year because there's no other rookies. But he's not looking like he probably is not, unless they turn around. He's not going to be proud of that Rookie of the Year. And I think he was really beating himself up. He's probably really down on himself. And look, there is a lot of hype built up with him. People are literally calling him a generational talent after what he did last year in the O'Reilly Series, winning I think 10 races, 8 overall, 12 races, whatever it was. It was a lot. Came out short in that championship. But I think I don't like that we do that to people, because I don't like labeling someone generational because of what they're doing in the lower series, man. And Zilisch is really talented, but also Trackhouse is not the best team. He was racing for the best team last year with Junior Motorsports. Right now, Trackhouse does not have the speed. It's very inconsistent. The only time they're showing speed is on the road courses. So I feel bad for Zilisch, but this is part of it. And also the thing that hurts as well is that he's not getting a lot of seat time. He's crashing out early in these races. The past 3 weeks, I don't even think he's made it to stage 2. So that's also hurting his development. And he's not learning. Like, he's going to, you only race at Nashville one time. You only race at Michigan one time. So he's not going to come back to these places still not really knowing what to expect and not be able to put a full race together. So those are the early incidents. We saw the 45 who won stage 1. He was up there mixing it up, passing. Carson Hocevar lost the pole to Hamlin, but because of Hamlin going to the back, Hocevar led a couple laps early on. We saw the 34 of Ty Gillen have a tire carcass come off. It was a very quiet stage 1. Tyler Reddick won stage 1. We saw the 54 make a little charge there late. Ty Gibbs finished second, Hocevar third. Fourth was Chase Elliott. Fifth was Bubba Wallace. 6th, the 38 of Zane Smith. The 7th was Kyle Larson. The 17 of Chris Buescher finished 8th. 9th then was Riley Herbst. And then 10th was Daniel Suarez. Then that 52 to start stage 2. The 23 took the lead there early against the 77. But then here came the 77. He took it back on lap 58 past the 23. But then we had the 54 come past the 77 for the lead, but then we had a caution. The 6 got in the wall, had a tire going down. He was running 12th at the time. Had a light damage, but that would not be the last time the 6 had contact. We had a pit stop, so lap 67. Elliott won the race off pit road, but we had contact. The 54 was leaving the pit box, and the 60 was trying to come in of Ryan Preece. Ty Gibbs was not happy. He had some damage, but he was luckily able to continue. But that was the start of what would be a early end to the 54. Ty Gibbs was told it looks like S&T in here looks good. So the S&T was telling him they look good. Gibbs said, I feel like I just jumped 3 feet in the air. It was a big little impact there. But surprisingly, he was able to continue and still race up front until later on. Lap 71, we saw the 16 of AJ Allmendinger spun out. He was a little upset because it seemed like he was loose on the, he was mad at drivers because they were, dirty air. They were aero blocking him. Spun out. had some damage from that because he had a tire go down. We had, pit stops on lap 81, nothing notable from that. But then on lap 83, we had the big accident with Carson Hocevar. Looked like the bottom lane, and he stacked up a little bit, and Hocevar was looking to go bottom. He was around, I think he was like in the fourth lane. He clipped the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek. And then we saw the 54 spin. We saw the 45 spin to the inside wall, and then he came back up the racetrack, and then the 3 thought he was clear, and then there was some smoke, and then he ran into the 45 hard, destroying the 3, ending the 3's day, ending the 45's day. Also, the 54 had damage, but he was able to continue, but really was uncompetitive. He was just kind of running, got lapped a bunch of times. But Denny Hamlin was right there. Someone easily could have ran into him, but they luckily were able to brake enough and see it. It was also a restart. The speed was not as high, but that was a close call. Close call for Hamlin. And of course, drivers were upset. Hamlin was not happy about it. A lot of drivers voiced their displeasure from Hocevar. And look, this is another one of those moments where Hocevar just really excited, made it, the inside lane kind of stacked up, but Hocevar was trying to go down, and he was too close to the 42's bumper. And this would not be the last time that Hocevar would be a little aggressive to pass forward. Hocevar, right when we saw the accident with the 9 and the 20, he made a dive bomb 3-wide move, and the 11 washed up, almost wrecked the 5. That was another time Hamlin was not happy with the 77. The 77 was really fast today, but made some aggressive moves and caused the wreck. I mean, the 77 caused that wreck, and that is his fault. And I think, Hocevar said that he didn't mean to do that, but he was just trying to make a move, trying to be aggressive. And we'll get later into it because we did see there was a conversation with Wallace and Hocevar, where Wallace was kind of showing his displeasure, but also, kind of telling Hocevar that we know you're fast, but you just got to hone in your skills there. We'll get into that later. But that was an incident that took out a lot of big, heavy hitters, including a guy like the 45, who we talked about had his big points lead, and had his first DNF of the season because of it. Moving on, lap 90, there was another caution after a restart. The 6 hit the wall hard. He looked like he came down, or the 42 came up. They were really tight, and the 6 got clipped in the driver's side rear corner panel and hit the wall, and his day was over. And then we had to go back to some good old racing. The 23 passed the 9 for the lead on lap 96. Lap 99, the 9 passes the 23 for the lead. Lap 109, the 7 passed the 5 for second. The 7 passed the 5. We also saw earlier in stage 1, the 38 passed the 5. So there were some guys that you don't expect, like passing Kyle Larson, right? That was a big deal. But then we saw Chase Elliott survive, because here came the 43 came on really strong in those long runs. And if there was one more lap, because I believe the 43 was, whenever the last time he pitted was on 4, Elliott was on 2. And I looked like Elliott was nursing it. But Elliott survived, won stage 2. We got pit stops. We saw the 43 of another really bad pit stop where he lost 6 spots. Started 8th. The 17 took 2 tires, gained 16 spots, started 4th to start stage 3. The 71 took 2 tires and gained 16 spots as well, started 10th. And when I talk about 2 tires, it's always 2 right side tires. You're never going to hear someone take two tires and do left sides, because the right sides are always wearing more than the lefts. So it's always going to be, when it comes to two tire calls, that's what it'll be. The 9 takes the lead, and then the 9 kind of just set sail out front there. Had a good pace, and then on lap 142, the 38 spins out. And then with 55 to go, we saw some more pit stops. The 24 won the race off pit road. And then 20 car, Bell was second. Ross Chastain got out there. He did 2 tires as well. The 24, the 20, the 1, and 22 took 2. And then drivers that took 4 were the 9, the 11, the 5, the 21, 7, and 43. Now, what was interesting there was the 9 was the closest car on 4 tires ahead there. So the 9 came out, the 9 restarted 5th there. And then we have a restart on lap 148. The 24 took the lead. But then here came Elliott, drove to the bottom. The 20 was on his outside. And then we saw one of the biggest crashes we've ever seen, biggest hits. The 9 got loose in the inside of the 20, and he said post-race that he was committed to just turning and letting the car spin. He knew he was in trouble. But then, almost like the car just shot up the racetrack by itself, it seemed like it kind of overcorrected hard into the 20, and the 20 just shot up. Like, he looked like the 20 had no idea he got hit and had no time to hit the brakes, because the 20 hit the outside wall so hard that it bent the actual wall. The wall was caved in, and then the 9 came up with the 20, and they collided again. This was just a massive crash, a scary crash. We've seen a lot of big hits, but we never seen a next-gen hit so hard that the actual safety barrier wall was bent. And they had to do some massive repairs. Both drivers got out. Both drivers came over. Elliott, of course, was very, very apologetic. He apologized to Bell. We ended up hearing post-race that Bell had I believe, a wrist injury and an ankle injury. We heard from Joe Gibbs. He'll continue to be evaluated through this week. So we're hoping that Bell is okay. He got out of his car. You couldn't tell. He did have a little bit of a limp there. But we had a massive, massive red flag. The red flag was a 20-minute red flag, it said. Just such a big hit. Two, if not the two best cars in the race at that moment, took each other out. It was very impressive though. Them trying to repair that wall. It was it was caved in. I've never seen a next gen. Of course, I'm talking a little too fast here. I've never seen a safer barrier wall bend and just cave in that much. We've seen, guardrails at Watkins Glen get damaged because of big hits, but to see a safer barrier wall cave in like that. Now look, a safer barrier wall is metal. There's metal, and then there's these foam balls that help, foam squares, I guess you'd call it, that kind of help absorb the impact. And there's that concrete wall. All this technology was created after Dale Earnhardt passed away. I forget the guy who actually helped invent the safer barrier walls. He actually just won the Landmark Award last year for his contributions to NASCAR. So it was really cool that Prime chose to focus on and talk about all the safety innovations, because the safety innovations saved the lives of those two drivers in that moment. Because I was like, man, imagine if we didn't have safer barriers. That could have killed Bell. So, like I said, prayers to Bell. We hope he is okay, and we truthfully, we mean that, because we don't want to see Bell out, because that was a big impact. I don't know what that feels like, and I don't wish that on any driver to experience that, but that was a very scary, scary incident. Long run flag. I thought Prime did a good job, like I said, of when they were going through that time. They showed a lot of replays, and the replays on the onboards for both drivers were just brutal. Brutal. But they both got out, and that was the most important thing. And then we had another accident after that, after our restart. With 47 laps to go, we saw the 7 take a lead from his teammate in the 77 on lap 47, or 47 laps to go, I should say. And then with 46 laps to go, we saw another accident that involved a lot of cars. It looked like the 71 got in the back of the 47 exiting turn 4 and just hit him enough that got that 47 loose. And then it was a bunch of cars got involved. Kind of like one of those accidents, kind of like lap 83 accident where there was just nowhere to go. For a lot of guys, this was one of those accidents. The 97, the 21, the 51, the 4, the 47, the 71, the 60, the 10, and the 33 were all involved. I think a couple of cars maybe were done officially. I know the 4 hit pretty well. Um, but no one was just obliterated in that wreck. But there was some big impacts. Of course, probably some upset drivers as well. And in that restart, we saw Hamlin make a move. He had a restart like 6th or something, and then was able to go on the outside and get up to 3rd. And then he restarted on the outside there, with coming to 39 laps to go. And the race-winning move was when he got clear in the 24, going to turns 3 and 4, and then the two teammates, Spire Motorsports, 77 Hocevar and the 7 of Daniel Schwartz were side by side. Hamlin had a great turns 3 and 4 and had momentum in the exit of turn 4. And Hamlin talked about he thought he was going to just push the 7 past the 77, but he chose to go bottom and make a 3-wide move, coming to 38 laps to go. And then once Hamlin cleared them both, Hamlin set sail. And when he set sail, there was a little talk about fuel saving. We didn't know what that was, but with the cautions that we had, I think allowed a lot of guys to save enough fuel. And Hamlin said that once he got out there, he just let it rip. He didn't have any care in the world about fuel saving. It was a very quiet radio, and that's why Hamlin won by 11 seconds, which was absolutely insane. That was 11-second win by Denny Hamlin was his longest, his largest lead. It was Hamlin's, if I can speak, that was the largest margin of victory that Hamlin's ever won a race. 11 seconds. It was 11.11. That's one heck of a length to win a race by, or margin to win a race by. Really, really massive win. Really, really cool, man. I keep saying that a lot. But now moving on. Results from the race. Denny Hamlin first, led 40 laps. Aaron Jones finished second. Aaron Jones said that he felt like he had the best car. He felt like he was better than the 11, but because he said that some of the strategy just didn't play. It's like, there was a pit stop there where he lost some spots there, where after he finished second in stage 2. So that probably hurt him too. But that's part of racing. Execution, that's the difference between Jugga's Racing and Legacy Motor Club. Jugga's Racing executes better than Legacy Motor Club. But Aaron Jones is running really, really well. He moved up some spots in the point standings. I think he was moved up 3 spots. I saw Eric Eastep highlight his past couple finishes. So he finished second today, finished 11th last week in Nashville, then finished 13th at Charlotte, 3rd in the All-Star race, and then he finished 12th. I forget what was after Dover. I forget, man. I really do forget. I don't remember. Oh, I think it was Watkins Glen. That's what it was. So some solid finishes for Eric Jones there. Gonna be good momentum going into another Pocono, another track where he feels like if they bring the speed that they can compete. Bubba Wallace came home 3rd, and Carson Hocevar came home 5th. And they had post-race a very animated conversation, mostly from Bubba Wallace. They both raced each other a lot today for the lead late in the race. And Bubba was the one that was talking. It looked like Hocevar was doing most of the listening. And Prime Video asked Wallace what he was talking to Hocevar about, and he said this: he's fast. He's fast, and he deserves to be in victory lane multiple times out of the year. But making mistakes is going to cost him, and he hasn't realized that yet. He went on to say to just stop hitting crap. You can race to your potential. But Wallace kind of highlighted the fact that it seemed like Hocevar wasn't racing that hard near the race late, knowing that his car wasn't as good. Hocevar could have easily fought for those positions and aero block, but he didn't do that because maybe he was trying to get on the good side of some of these guys that he'd wronged throughout the race. Look, we know Hocevar was aggressive. He caused a crash today on lap 83, and he tore a lot of cars up because of it. Of course, was he being aggressive? Was he trying to make a move? Yeah, but that aggressiveness went overboard a bit. He also made an aggressive move going 3 wide on that same crash where we saw Bell in the 9 crash of Elliott. He made it 3 wide, almost crashed the 11 into the 5. We love to see the aggressiveness. As media members, as fans, we love it. But as a driver, they don't like it. They're tired of it. Because I think they realize that Hocevar is so fast, he doesn't need to be doing that. I think that's what they're trying to get after Hocevar, is that they know now that he can compete, he can win, he has the speed. There's no need for him to be super aggressive and run over people to get where he needs to get. Like Wallace said, if he stops, making mistakes, he can race to his potential. Yeah, it'll be interesting, going forward. Of course, we're here a lot this weekend. I think, like I said, I don't want Hocevar to change. Dale Earnhardt Jr. said that he hopes Hocevar is this aggressive for the next 20 years. We know what happened with Ross Chastain. It seemed like after Ross Chastain had the incident with Kyle Larson in 2023 at Darlington, Ross Chastain had a talk with Rick Hendrick, and Ross Chastain kind of lost that aggressive edge. And now this one, Spire Motorsports is running a Hendrick Motorsports engine. There's a little more of a deeper connection there. So we'll see. I don't think Hocevar will change. I think Hocevar is sympathetic in the sense that he didn't mean to wreck these people, but I still think we'll see this down the line. I don't know, what it will take for Hocevar to stop being this way. It may take someone, using the bumper to Hocevar and wrecking him for making a bad move in a race. We'll see. I feel like we have these conversations all the time with Hocevar, and I kind of use the rinse and repeat. I love it. I don't want him to stop. I think it's awesome. It gives us something to talk about. He's entertaining. We need that type of stuff in the sport. It'll definitely be a continued storyline to follow throughout the year. But both really good runs for Bubba Wallace and Carson Hocevar. I'll say that. Wallace needed that run big time. Kyle Larson, 4th. Another guy who's led some laps in the race. He only led 4 laps. Bubba Wallace led 9. Hocevar led 21 laps. Another solid day for Larson. A lot of attrition, a lot of mistakes, a lot of accidents, but that was a good day. Daniel Suarez, 6th. Another guy who was up front there, but just didn't have the speed, kind of fell off late. But still, another really good day for Daniel Suarez. Spire Motorsports as a whole is no longer the little train that could. They're in the mix now. So we now need to start putting Spire at a higher standard and saying, well, when they don't run well, we need to start calling them out. I feel that's what we have to do now. Joey Logano finishing 7th. Ryan Blaney finishing 8th. Austin Cindric finishing 11th. What a day for Team Penske. This is the day that Team Penske needed. We know Austin Cindric, he got an accident last week. We know Joey's been having a really rough luck. Same thing with Blaney. Both of these guys, I think Joey was the best car. We've seen that with him finishing 7th. Blaney was kind of very quiet, but then came on strong there for a top 10. And Cindric kind of said that he felt like he had a little better car than where he finished. We saw that scary moment there, I think, coming 2 laps ago, where the 2 of Cindric got super loose there, battling the 19 of Chase Briscoe. But saved it. This is a big day. It's the day the Fords needed as a whole. So good run for Penske. Chris Buescher finishing 9th. Chase Briscoe finishing 10th. Good runs for both of them. Chase Briscoe will return to Pocono, where he won his first race for Joe Gibbs Racing. All right, Cole Custer, 12th. 13th, Riley Herbst. 14th, John Hennichek. 15th, Josh Berry. Good days for all of those guys. Those guys have had some bad luck. Those are good days for some of those smaller teams. Ross Chastain, 16th. AJ Allmendinger, 17th. 18th, William Byron. I'm not sure what happened to William Byron. He must have fell off really, really bad late. I'm not sure what happened to him, because he was up there up front. He was in the top 5 when the final restart. He must have really lost something in his car. Not exactly sure. Alex Bowman finishing 19th. 20th, Austin Hill. The rest of these cars are from Austin Hill the whole way down to Kyle Busch in 37th. Were all involved in accidents. Really felt bad for Zane Smith, who finished 33rd. He was running, I believe, 12th at the time before he crashed. I know he spun out there. He was going to probably have another really good day until that. Noah Gragson, I thought was kind of in the mix there as well, running top 15 at one time. Ryan Preece, of course. There's a lot of guys, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Shane Van Gisgren. This is a big hit for Shane, knowing that he needs to capitalize on these ovals to try to get some points to help him out. So some big monumentally bad days. Some of the things, some of the wrecks, some of those guys just couldn't control. They were just in the wrong place, the wrong time. We look at the point standings. Tyler Reddick in first only has a 51-point lead. We talked about that. Hamlin is right there, but there's some road courses coming up, so we don't know if Hamlin he may lose some. But Hamlin right now has over 106-point lead over Ryan Blaney in third. So Hamlin has really stretched himself out there in the pack. Blaney is third. Chase Elliott in fourth. Elliott didn't lose any spots in the points. Ryan Blaney didn't lose any spots in the points. Todd Gibbs didn't lose any spots in the points. Kyle Larson didn't lose any spots in the points, running sixth. Hocevar gained 2 spots, 7th in the point standings. Chris Buescher didn't lose any spots in the points, 8th. Dennis Horace gained 1 spot in the point standings, 9th. Christopher Bell, 10th in the point standings, lost 3 spots, probably because of the accident. He also didn't get many stage points because he started in the back as well. Lost 3. Bubba Wallace gained 4 spots in 11th. This was a big day for Bubba Wallace, like we kind of talked about. They gained 4 spots. Gotta feel good. Byron loses a spot in 12th. Chase Briscoe gains a spot in 13th. Shane Van Gisbergen loses a spot. He's now in 14th. Shane Van Gisbergen lost 2 spots in 14th. Baraslowski lost 2 spots again in 15th. Some bad luck for Baraslowski, some bad things, some misfortune, some accidents causing Brad to drop to the 15th spot, -2. And then Austin Cindric has the final spot over his teammate Joey Logano. Cindric is in 16th, Joey Logano is in 17th. Joey gains a spot. Currently, Cindric has a 3-point lead over Joey Logano for that final spot. And then Eric Jones in 18th is right there. He's about little more than 20 points back there from, I guess less than 21. Yeah, oh, no, like 17 points back there, it looks like, from Austin Cindric in 16th, so good day for him. Ryan Preece lost 2 spots. Yeah, Aaron Jones gained 3 spots in 18th too there. Ryan Preece lost 2 spots in 19th. And then for 20th, Michael McDowell lost 1 spot. Zane, man, after a good run there, in 22nd now loses 2 spots. Ross Chastain, though, as well. Ross Chastain gained 2 spots, but he's in 24th. Just super shocking how bad just Chastain and Trackhouse as a whole has run. Trackhouse has just been really, really bad recently, and I don't know, at least they got some road courses coming out where they can hopefully create some momentum, but boy, they are struggling. All right, this race as a whole, there were 24 cars running at the finish of the day's race, the fewest at Michigan for Cup Series since August of 1987. Additionally, the last 3 races had 34 cautions. There were a total of 34 cautions in 6 races prior to this. I believe there was also a track record of cautions. This is the most cautions that's ever happened in a Michigan race. 11 cautions for 54 laps. This was a 200-lap race. So that's over more than 20%. More than 25% of this race was under caution. So a quarter of this race was under caution. 22 lead changes. 11 drivers led laps. Chase Elliott led the most laps in 67. Denny Hamlin led 40 laps, second most. And then third most was Tyler in 33. I thought the racing was awesome. Really exciting. 2x2. The draft was really a big deal. You see guys get massive drafts and then dive bomb, make a pass side by side. Very aero sensitive. You would see a guy, if he was in the same wake of the car he was trying to pass in front of him, he would get really tight. He would shoot up the racetrack. If you saw a car come down someone's nose, you would see that the car that got cut off from the clean air would go and shoot up the racetrack. Still a very high aero sensitive track. I know I heard some people talk about, the accident with the 20 and the 9. People have talked about how, the corner speeds are just so fast because the straightaway speeds are slower. So there's less off-throttle time, there's more on-throttle time, which makes those accidents that happen in the turns more violent because they're going way faster in the turns. If you had more horsepower, you wouldn't see those accidents because they would be slowing down a lot more from the corners. We currently run 670 at the mile and a halfs or bigger, besides super speedways. Um, and I get it. I agree. I definitely think if you have we need to get some more horsepower in general. More horsepower would be a lot more entertaining. Of course, faster straightaway speeds, but slower corner speeds. And you had slower corner speeds, you would maybe limit the possibility of big, massive crashes like we had today with the 9 in the 20. But I enjoyed this race. The Prime broadcast was amazing. Martin Truex Jr., great to see his face again. I guess they usually can't wear sunglasses, but because Martin Truex agreed to this and he said he would do it if he wore sunglasses, they changed their policy. They can all wear sunglasses. And Truex wore sunglasses the entire time when post-race, Truex was still wearing sunglasses and no one else was. But I enjoyed Truex. I don't think he was like, of course he's not the most comfortable in those settings, but it was cool to see him in that setting. I thought the Prime broadcast was always really good. The interviews were good. Prime does an incredible job. Amazing job. They treat this sport serious way better than Fox does. And we got 2 more races with them, and I cannot wait, man. The Rollie Rate, man, I love this race. I was excited for this race, and I think it delivered. Of course, you could say, oh my gosh, it was a boring little finish there, but still, I think it was good to have some rhythm, some momentum, because there was a little stretch there where it was just caution after caution. So I thought it was good to see a nice little long green flag stretch there where we saw some good passing there. So I'm going to go 8.8. I really enjoyed this race. For the Rollie Rate is an 8.8. That's Cup Series race. I enjoyed it. Can't wait to hear what other people have to say about this race. The Truck Series race, Corey Heim got his 3rd win of the season in his part-time races. I believe Heim's run like half the races and has 3 wins. It was Heim time in Michigan, but it was not without some drama with his teammate, Honeycutt. They were racing for the win there. Honeycutt made a move on the last lap to the outside of Heim, and Heim threw a block. And that killed the momentum of the 11. And the 1 went on to lead that final lap and get the win. Honeycutt was upset, said some quotes post-race. Thank God it was a company truck, because I wouldn't have lifted in that situation. Also, Honeycutt was upset about they weren't working as well together, it felt like, versus how Heim was working with some of the other trucks in the race there, with Hocevar and whatnot. Heim was asked about it during his winner's press conference and said the advice he would give to Honeycutt is get thicker skin and deal with it. That's honestly my advice to him. Heim went on to say that if he made that block and got wrecked because of it, because the 11 didn't lift, he would have said that's my fault. I don't know. Ken Honeycutt, for me, definitely seems to be a complain a lot too much. He complained about how the Cup guys were racing him unfairly in some of those races. But Honeycutt also said he has to learn how to win these races, has to restart better. I just think it's weird that Honeycutt complains a lot. He is driving the best truck. He's driving the best truck. Okay? Corey Heim didn't have much issues when it came to restarts and stuff. I'm not a driver, though. I'm not a driver. I just don't like the fact that Honeycutt always complains. But I will say those quotes for Heim, man, he was not menacing words there. He gave it to him straight about his advice for King Honeycutt. Now, Heim is part-time. Honeycutt is full-time. Honeycutt literally has the same team that Heim won the championship with. Of course, same crew chief. Yeah, man, that was a little fun battle there. Heim only led 15 laps in this race, but he was in the mix. I think he had a bad pit stop one time. Hocevar led the most laps in 65 laps. Christopher Bell was up there, led 67 laps as well. Tyler Jeske led 4 laps. He got wrecked. He wrecked late in the race. Oh, yeah, I do have my finisher results. Heim first, Honeycutt second, third, Carson Hocevar fourth, Lane Riggs fifth, Chandler Smith sixth, Christopher Bell seventh, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. eighth, Connor Mozak ninth, Jake Garcia 10th, Tyler Ingram 11th, Grant Finger 12th, Giovanni Giro 13th, Daniel Hemmer 14th, Brendan Queen, and 15th, Daniel Dye. Fun truck race. Cleetus McFarland, he started 29th and finished 25th. Cleetus did spin out in this race. He spun out on lap 68. Cleetus, he struggled again. He was on the pole for the ARCA Series race, and that was impressive. He finished, I think, like 10th or 7th in that race there, and he got range shortened. The inexperience is what's going to hurt Cleetus. He gets talked about a lot, but he's not really doing much. And look, I get why he is talked about. He gets a lot of views on his in-car camera. I think he's great for the sport. I think he's awesome. But I feel like he would be a lot better if he would say, you know what, I'm just going to focus on my ARCA Series. And I'm going to get as good as I possibly can. And then I'm going to come race these Orion Series races and these Truck Series races. And then it would help me. I can put a better showing out there. But you can't blame him for saying, I'm going to run these ARCA Series races. But also, I want to run an occasional O'Reilly Series race and Truck Series race, knowing that he has the sponsorship. The sponsors want to do it. I mean, the opportunity to race in the Orion Series came from RCR saying, hey, we want to help you out. So I can't really blame him. He wants to race. He wants to learn. And there's a team that's willing to give him the opportunity. And like I said, with the same thing with the Hocevar stuff, it's always the same conversation with Cleetus. I think Cleetus is right for the sport. You want to be successful. And I feel like him running majority ARCA and running a full season ARCA would be the best way for him to fully get better. And I would bet that he could win multiple races in the ARCA Series because he's gotten really good there. And those his cars for Rick Jones Racing, that Ford, they're fast. That program's gotten a lot better. That's really it. Fun truck race. Overall, what a weekend at Michigan. Poconos next week. I will not be in Pocono. I approve for a credential, but they don't have enough space for me. They have to leave space for their higher end media. So sadly, I will not get to cover the race at my home track. And I don't plan to go because I'm going to save paid time off from my real job and save some money so I can use that towards a race that I get approved to go cover. I'm excited for Pocono. I love Pocono. I'm passionate about it. But I'm just simply not going because I didn't get approved for a credential. I want to save money and PTO time for a race that I can go and cover. But I'm excited. Special win. Denny Hamlin won this race for Kyle Busch. Won it on an incredible restart. Really special win. I think this will be a win for Denny Hamlin that he will not forget. And it'll be exciting to see can Denny continue this streak and go 3 in a row at Pocono, a place that he has the most wins at. He has 7 wins at. He's the winningest driver there in the NASCAR Cup Series. Really cool. Overall, guys, thank you guys for watching. It means the world that you guys watch this stuff, watch this short form content. Stay tuned to all that. Like again, thanks for watching. Means the world. Let's roll. Goodbye.